You've heard it. The Liberals are crazy. Canada's broke. We can't afford any more spending. This will bankrupt our kids. How did we get here? Was it the Liberals? Let's have a look at the last few years. When COVID hit, the government pumped hundreds of billions into the economy. A lot of that was printed money, straight from the Bank of Canada. It kept everyone afloat, but it fueled inflation. But while debt went up, so did GDP. Because to keep our AAA credit rating, we had to show the world, who buys our bonds and want returns, our economy was still growing. And since borders were closed and businesses were frozen, that growth had to come from somewhere. Through immigration. Not just for population, but to protect our debt to GDP ratio. Because if that number spirals, interest payments on the debt go through the roof. That led to the housing issues, and it's where we're at today. Looking bleak. The Liberals have unveiled their plan and it looks like a repeat. Nothing but more spending. Maybe they are crazy after all. But here's what's actually happening. And here's how an asset manager plans to invest that spending and make that spending work for Canada. When you build homes faster, prices stabilize. When you build power grids, you unlock energy exports. When you remove trade barriers, business gets cheaper. When you speed up project approvals, more companies invest here. All of that boosts GDP, and that grows the tax base. More income. More business activity, more jobs, which means more tax revenue, without raising taxes. But how do you pay for all that productivity and infrastructure without raising taxes or cutting social programs? Where's the money coming from? More money printing and raging inflation? No, not money printing. This plan is different. It uses a mix of bonds, government-issued loans, and private partnerships. Let's break that down. Firstly, bonds. Basically, the government borrows by selling IOUs to investors, like pension funds, banks, and even regular Canadians. They give the government cash now, for the bond, and the government pays them back later, with interest. This is long-term, low interest, and spread over decades. It's like a mortgage, but for the country. And borrowing like this, it doesn't increase inflation. Because we're not creating new money, we're just moving existing capital. Second, government loans. The government isn't just spending money, it's lending it. Billions in low-cost housing loans for home builders. Clean energy loans for building grid expansion and factories. Financing programs for agri-tech, public infrastructure, and indigenous partnerships. These are investments that earn income through returns. Builders and finances repay their loans with interest, on billions. The government gets the money back, and reinvests some of it, compounding the growth. In this way, the income generated goes straight toward paying for the costs of the loans, without requiring more borrowing. Thirdly, private sector investment. For every dollar the government puts in, it's aiming to attract $2 to $3 more from private investors. How so? Well, it goes like this. Tax incentives for clean technology can draw considerable investment in manufacturing. Investment in trade corridors has the potential to boost private funding in logistics. And venture capital initiatives, aimed at growing Canadian startups. So government money starts the project, but private money finishes it and gets their profits from it. That splits the cost, and brings in long-term revenue through economic growth and tax returns. So how does this all pay off, and reduce the deficit? Because when the economy grows, the debt to GDP ratio drops. It's not just about the size of the debt, it's about how big the economy is to carry it. If we grow faster than we borrow, the deficit decreases in relation to the overall economy. So to sum up, all the new spending is focused entirely on capital investments. No new day-to-day programs. No permanent budget bloat. The regular budget, for healthcare, education, etc., is capped. That means the new borrowing is going toward projects that either pay rent, pay interest, or pay taxes. It's like taking out a loan to buy a delivery truck, and then using that truck to make $200,000 a year. Eventually the truck pays for itself, and then some. This is a targeted build-out, like a smart business expanding capacity, with a clear path to returns on investment. The spending isn't about creating new deficit. It's being treated like a business loan, expected to generate income. And that income pays back the loans, offsets interest and grows tax revenue without raising taxes. Bottom line, this isn't reckless, it's structured. Bonds fund the build. Loans bring money back in. Growth expands revenue. And none of it depends on the Bank of Canada printing money, your taxes being raised, or loss of publicly funded services. If we do this right, we don't pass debt to our kids. We pass them functioning infrastructure, affordable housing, cheaper power, and a bigger economy to pay for it all. And if we do nothing, the debt still grows, but with nothing to show for it. So what's the smarter future? Build it, and grow out of the hole. Or freeze in fear, and let the hole swallow us.